Halo everyone, Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Hi, my name is Alvina Milatul Hoira and the last digit of my student number is 002. I'm currently studying English literature at Erlangen University with current concentration literature. So, in this video, I will be telling you guys the importance and the significance benefits of learning and understanding literature, an individual and society. So, stay tuned! So, have you ever heard a juxtaposition of literature which reads, "Literature makes sense of the world, yet it doesn't have to make sense"? Well, this phrase is kind of confusing, isn't it? However, it does actually make sense in a way. So, let me explain to you. Humanism is built upon paradox, a desire to understand literature of what it precisely means turns out to be contrasted with a vision of the way the world is, to the extent that the work of imaginative literature represent anything, especially a fictional world. It is argued that humanists can actually embrace this representational divide that runs between literature and life. And if literature does not actually represent reality, it plays a crucial role on the constructions of those narrative and virtues of which we gave a sense of our characteristically human practices and experience. Now, embraces the paradox and absurdity of a literature, generated understanding of literature, even if it actually doesn't make sense to our modern thinking. Now, why do I tell you all of this? Because society often underestimates the power and means of literature. To be fair, one of the primary sources of previous century society practices and experience were able to be uncovered through literature. Wait, before we delve further, maybe we should actually define what literature is. So, according to Long 1989, literature is an expression of life in words, truth, and beauty. It is the written form of records of human spirit, of thoughts, emotions, aspirations, and it is the history of human souls. But personally, I think literature understanding goes beyond that definitions that we will be uncover and learn further through this video. Now that we have noted literature as one of the most powerful source and device, we should delve deep to understand why we as humans need to understand literature and its impact on individuals and society. Literature allows a person to step back in time and learn about life on Earth from those who walked before us. We learn through the ways literature is recorded in the form of manuscript or the speech itself. Literature is a reflection of humanity, practices, and understanding of different eras. Literature mirrors society and its mannerism. For example, because of Charles Dickens' work of literature, we can actually experience or learn about the hard time of Victorian English era without actually having to delve further, conduct a historical study analysis, right? We also learn some of the world famous names such as Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, Queen Elizabeth I, William Shakespeare, Jane Austen, etc. for their powerful ruler status, their outstanding contributions of literature. Therefore, it acts as a cultural enrichment and it helps us to gain better understanding of the world beyond, which is why literature is also marked as a window to the other world, which is the world beyond our lens and the world beyond our minds. The importance of literature is immense. What you learn will change your perceptions and the way you communicate or interact with people by using literary devices such as tone, moods, and also figurative language. It helps prepare individuals from an early age to understand the importance of literature, which is being able to comprehend and understand situations from different perspectives. Now, literature acts as a form of expressions for each individual. For example, there like F. Scott Fitzgerald, our prime example for this, as his novel, one of the most famous, The Great Gatsby, was a reflection of his opinions and also experience of America during 1920s. By listening to a voice of other person, we can begin to figure out what that individual thinks. Now, literature cultivates emotion and empathy for others. Have you ever cried while reading a romance book, or maybe getting all tense up while reading a conflict plot in a story? That is because literature relies heavily on the inside portrayals of something that human feelings are prone to. Literature shaped much deeper emotional connections with humans, and it is actually scientifically proven that stories are much more engaging to our brains. Now, because literature actually mirrors and contributes to our understanding of the past, it is actually a gateway for a better future. We learn from what happens in the past and try to avoid and not to make the same mistakes of what happens in the past. One of the most complex examples might be colonialism and imperialism for those in the past, as we all know, which was mostly recorded in each country history source. We knew in the past that those who were in power occupied those who were in much more unfortunate situations, eventually ignoring the boundaries of human rights, and then humanism were actually in questions. Now that we are in much more fortunate situations of understanding those past events through literature and understanding what humanity means, then we should be the one who actually strive for a better future and uphold those justice, right? Now, generally, we can conclude that literature is important and contributes to society and one's individuals. Through reading literature, one's open up to a whole different knowledge and perspective, which therefore enhances their knowledge. Literature shaped one thinking differently and helps them more creative and think outside of the box. Because essentially, literature is an exercise in human creativities. They rely on readers' imaginations and curiosity to be functions. Consequently, develop human ability of critical thinking, as well as enhance their creative writing skills. Now that we have learned all of those significance and impact of understanding literature, we can finally conclude that literature not only as a form of cultural enrichment or window to the other world, but it can also help one's understanding to new perspectives, therefore enhances one's creative thinkings and critical thinkings. Okay everyone, that is the final conclusions. I hope this video can empower anyone who were watching to be more mindful and to be more aware of the significance and understanding of literature. And I'm Alvina. Thank you so much for watching this video.